back this morning. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to scroll and see who else I see here. I normally never do this from a phone. Okay, this is nice. Okay, we are recording, so let's get this party started. We're good, Melissa? Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce, and then I am going to mute myself and just allow you all to ask the gorgeous Erin Young all different questions. So needless to say, if you are not aware of this yet, Erin Young is a 10-star diamond coach. She is a mom of 2 from Indiana. She's a 4-time elite, 71 months in SC, and has been doing coaching full-time for the last 4 years. So with that being said, Erin, do you mind just giving us a little more background about you before they start asking questions?
Not at all. Hi, you guys. Good morning, and kudos to you for being here. I know that everybody's lives are crazy, and it's kind of like the end of summer / back to school time. So I know exactly what a lot of you guys are experiencing right now. And so a little bit more about me is that I started coaching in, I signed up February of 2012 and for my own fitness journey. And actually called to cancel the immediate, like right off the bat, like the first week that I was a coach, I called to cancel. And I'm glad that the guy from Coach Relations or customer service, whoever I called, was like, are you sure? Like, shouldn't you drink your Shakeology first? Like, I'm so glad he questioned me. I was like, yeah, maybe I should try it. Like, I just was, I didn't know anything about it. And I didn't know anything about coaching for a really long time. But I decided to start building a business actually, and I dabbled. I was a hobby coach forever. Like, my first goal was to cover the cost of my Shakeology because my husband thought it was expensive and was a skeptic. And I was just trying to get back in shape after, having 2 kids, and I was working full time as a high school English teacher. I felt like that everyone around me was very negative and just bringing me down. And I saw this positivity within my coach friends who were kind of on their fitness journey, and they were doing insanity. And I was like, they were getting results, and I was trying to lose the same 10 pounds for 10 years and really had nowhere to turn. And so for me, once I got results, it was kind of like, how could I not share this with someone? And that's what I did, is I started building the business and sharing this to the people in my warm market. And that is how I grew my business in my warm market. I was not a social media mogul. I hardly used Facebook until I started coaching. I had no clue what I was doing. I never even took a selfie until coaching. I was like, what the heck is this? I can't even hardly find pictures of myself before coaching with my children, right? Because it was just not who I was. And so my business started in my high school English classroom. And it started because that's where I was pushing play, because I was working out after my school day, and I was pushing the desk to the side, pulling down the projector, turning off the light, and locking the freaking door, because if someone walked in on me, it would be like the most embarrassing moment of my life. But then people started asking me what I was doing, because that negative teaching environment, I taught in this amazing school. My husband still teaches there. That's where I met him teaching. But the environment was kind of toxic and negative, but people were seeing me get happier and seeing me get results, and people started asking me what I was doing. So I started inviting people to work out with me. So my business started with a fit club in my classroom 2 days a week. And one of those days I would bring in Shakeology. And literally, I carried in this big old bag with my huge blender and mix-ins and little Dixie cups, and made Shakeology and passed it out. And literally, it was so almost like grassroots how my business started. But my business and our team is full of teachers, and a lot of teachers that I taught with. And 2 of those are full-time coaches now. And we were literally boom, boom, classrooms, 1, 2, 3, right down from each other. And we've all been able to build our teams and our businesses in the same community. I mean, my coach is Julie Boris. We all live in the same county of Indiana. And it's really cool to see that we never run out of people to talk to in Hamilton County. We never run out of people to talk to in our warm market. We never run out of people, because everywhere we turn, we meet somebody that's wanting to know more and learn more about our journey. And so I think that's kind of a cool thing, because a lot of times we think that as coaches, we got to get out there and get that first post up, and we got to get that call to action. We got to post on social and have a lot of this, I don't know, we put a lot of pressure on people. You got to get started on social. And I do, like, my business is on social media, but I started my business, this amazing business, with like the people that got started in 2012 with me in 2013, they're still here, because it was so grassroots. It was so heart level. They freaking got results. It wasn't a bunch of just get a bunch of numbers. It was like, let's help a bunch of people, and I think that's really cool. And I think that is so relatable and doable for a lot of our new coaches, because they're like, cool, I can invite people to my home and work out with me, or I could invite people to my church and work out with me. I can invite people to my workplace and work out with me. Like, that's also, I think, a cool option for people getting started. And when I started, a lot of people were doing fit clubs. A lot of people were doing shake and shares. I've had shake and shares in my house where people, like, I invited people to come over and learn more about what I'm doing, taste the shake. I've hosted shake and shares for my other coaches, so it's kind of fun to think about some of those maybe alternative ways that, like, a business can get started, as opposed to just crushing it on social. You don't have to crush it on social, I think. So anyway, that's a little intro, but, so yeah, 14 years of teaching. And I was able to retire from my job as a teacher. And, I don't know, like, at one point, Arno called me the school bus mom, this bus stop mom, because that was my goal. And I knew that if I wanted to be home with my children, and when I became a mom, I loved teaching. I was in an amazing school, like, taught honors classes. It was so cool. And my husband was there every day. Like, it was the best case scenario. We were on the same schedules. But when I became a mom, something changed inside of me, and I needed to be home, and I needed to be making them breakfast and putting them on the school bus. And it broke my heart to think that I spent more time with other people's children than my own. And I was not okay with that, and I think that full-time working moms are awesome. I'm still a full-time working mom, but I just changed. I flipped the script a little bit, and I gave myself more freedom. But I decided to retire when we were a 6-time elite team. Or 6-star diamond, a 1-time elite team, not a 6-time elite. I'm going for that though. But we were a 6-star diamond, and we were elite, and my income was more than doubling my teaching salary. So it wasn't like a leap of faith decision. It was very much a business decision. Like, you got it covered, Erin. This is a no-brainer. It wasn't like, okay, I'm going to retire and then everything's going to fall into place. And it was like, no, everything's where it needs to be to continue growing and to continue covering, the amount of income that I was bringing in, as a teacher. So been doing this. This is the 4th year. My son's going into the 3rd grade, or he just started the 3rd grade, and put him on the bus every day, kindergarten through 3rd grade now. So very excited, and Beachbody's allowed me to do that. So do you want me to just answer or ask for questions? I don't know.
They should be actually asking you questions. So yes, if there's anything in the chat threads, please go ahead. But ladies, please unmute yourself and please ask Erin questions.
I'll go. I forgot you were traveling, Brittany. Hi, Erin.
Thank you.
Oh, is that Christine? Hey, girlie.
I know. I'm in my kitchen. It's super dark. So, hi. How are you?
Good.
Good. Okay. Well, I could ask you a ton of questions all day. I want to, one thing I want to ask you, because you've obviously been super successful and you're super sweet, but I also know you're no BS. So how do you, I think I've asked everybody this, how do you draw the line for setting those expectations with people and cutting through the crap while also being loving and positive, like within your team? Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I love you. Yeah. Christine, you're a no BS kind of girl too, right? Okay. So I really, my mindset, I'm an all-in girl kind of mindset. I've never just put a toe in the water in anything I've ever done. And so when working with people, you get all kinds of different levels of commitment, from your challengers to your coaches, because we're all different. And so I have found that if I know what someone's goal is. Okay. Like and that's what I legit try to always ask a new coach, a challenger, a coach pushing to a star diamond rank. Like, what is your goal? Okay. And then what action steps are you going to take to get there? Okay. And then I physically ask them, how do you want me to help you make this goal happen? How do you see me playing a part in this? I just had coaches over to my house for like a little luncheon, and I literally said, how do you want me to hold you accountable right now? What works for you? And legit coming out and asking people, I think, is the best. When a new challenger signs up and a new coach, I literally say, so what do you want me to do when I see you falling off? When I see you not showing up? What do I have permission to do? Do you need me to text you? Do you need me to message you, to call you out, to give you grace? Like, how do you want me to do this? Because I don't want to come off as being too hard on people that are not receiving of that. But I also need to know how people need me to hold them accountable, because I can't be a guessing game, And so I think that's just if you know what their goal is and you know what action steps they're committed to taking, they know the expectations of the challenge group. They know the expectations of the coach training group that they're in with you, whatever it is. They know what it takes to hit Success Club, and you've told them over and over again, and then you got to say, okay, well, do I have permission to hold you accountable? And what's that look like for you? I had one coach that was like, can I just text you every time, like every morning, please, that I'm up inviting? I need to do that. And I'm like, awesome. I had no idea that you were struggling getting your ass out of bed. Like, I had no idea, And so, I think that's just, you just have to flat out ask people. Hope that helps. Okay. So I'm seeing questions over here.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Let's see. Question. So Colleen is asking, what is one main thing you focus on when pushing for 10-star? What changed to get you there? Nothing. I know that's a bad answer. Okay. So like you just keep going forward. Okay. So it just depends on where your business is, where your coaches are, what your first business center looks like. I think a key to 10-star for us was that my husband's account was diamond. My second CBC was diamond, so I controlled some of the moving parts to get to 10-star. I don't think we had a third CBC at that point. But so I just knew that you look at your downline and you're like, okay, we have the runners, we have the people to get there. And so it's all about creating a deadline, and you get those coaches together and you see who's in. It's just the same thing that we do when we fight for elite every year. Like, who are the key players? Who are the key players in getting to 10-star? Okay, gather them together, make a video message, okay, and just be like, guys, we have this opportunity. We're so close. We need all hands on deck, and I need to know who's on deck. Who's willing to put their hands in? Who's willing to get dirty? Who's willing to push towards this goal together? That means we are this, you are that. We're all doing this together. We're all working together. So I think it helps me to gather the key players together and ask who is ready to fight for it, and have a deadline, and make sure that everybody knew what it was going to take to get there. You're working really closely with those coaches. And so in order to do that, some other things may have to kind of be delegated in your business so that you can work hard. And it's not just working with that one coach who's pushing to diamond, it's with their downline. One of the things, when I have coaches who are close to diamond, I recognize the crap out of their team. Like, I'm highlighting I don't know, this one girl I recognized today, I don't even really know who she is, but I know she signed up 6 coaches last month, and she is the next key player in one of our coaches hitting 4-star, and so I'm recognizing her, and I'm recognizing, and then I'm tagging all of their coaches. Your team is rocking, you're doing amazing, you're so close to diamond, this is an amazing thing. So you're not only just working with Christine, who's almost a diamond, you're working with Christine and her up and coming emeralds as well. Or you're helping her, making sure she's inviting to the sneak peeks. You're asking her about her coach invites. You're asking her, what's it going to take? Who are you talking to? You're kind of digging in a little bit deeper for them. My team needed a deadline and they needed a party, like incentive. And that, I mean, they were like all about making that party happen. And we just went out in downtown Indy and had hotel rooms and a photo shoot and just lived it up. And it was so much fun. Went out to a really nice dinner, went to a club, dancing. It was so fun. And so, you know, that was such a memorable time and it made all the hard work worth it. And so I think that's just critical, is asking who wants to fight for it, because we cannot, oh my gosh, like trying to like pull people along is not where it's at, you know? And so if somebody's not willing to put in the work or fight for it, you just have to accept it and work with, I mean, people always say it, work with the willing, but I think you got to put it out there to your team, set a deadline, gather the troops, dig in, work with those coaches, and make it a fun ending, you know, and make a reason why, you know, we're all going to fight together. Okay. Let's see. I know it does take forever. And then sometimes, like Colleen said, it takes forever. Oh my gosh. I know, because sometimes you take one step forward and then you're like, oh, okay, now we're not taking a step forward. And that's why it's like, it's called the law of replacement. You're always adding people to your network. You're always adding new coaches to your team. You're always onboarding a new coach. You're always helping someone hit Success Club. You know, you're always moving the needle forward. And it's almost like you always have new people, new fresh blood, so to speak, that you're working with, because you never know when someone's going to flake, and you never know. I mean, I've had so many coaches get like a sneeze away from Diamond and they're like, I don't know, this is just too hard. I'm sorry. Or, you know, this is just taking too much time for my family. Or wait, I'm just not making enough money for what I'm putting into this. And you're just like, okay, you know, I mean, so sometimes you just gotta be like, bless, release, see you later. Because if you're in this to make money, like at this point in the game, and you're not focusing on the lives you're changing and the income you're blessing on people, then I'm not sure how to help you get over that, you know? And so I do feel like it's super hard. Okay. All right. Where do you recruit most of your coaches from? How many per month? Christy. Okay, so I'm a lower recruiter in that I've had months where I've recruited 2 coaches and I've had months where I've recruited 11 coaches. My goal is always to make sure that I'm bringing on 5 coaches, but I mean, it just is all over the place. And my coaches are coming from both social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram. And I'm still recruiting coaches of people that I was talking to 5 years ago, and I'm recruiting coaches from people that I'm meeting 2 weeks ago on Instagram. So it really just varies. And my recruiting style is more of like, let me see where you are. Okay. Now I'm going to lead with a coaching opportunity if I know that you're going to benefit from a health and fitness solution, if I know that you're positive and hardworking, if I know that you really will fit in with our tribe and community. Because when I bring people on and sign them up as coaches, that legit, I have that feeling like, I'm not really sure. It never works out. So I'm personally picky, and I don't just throw up the coaching opportunity to everyone right away. And that's just my own prerogative. And so I do firmly believe that if someone gets in a challenge group and they fall in love with the products, and if they get results, they're going to be a natural, amazing, awesome coach if they're ready and the time is right for them. And then I also meet people that are already into fitness. They're already showing up on social media, and I'm like, girl, are you a coach? Because if not, you're already rocking at being a coach. I mean, I send those kind of messages, you know, and so, you know, it just kind of varies. And I'm not just signing up coaches. I'm signing up coaches and challengers. But I do have a weekly goal for myself, and that is something that has totally shifted for me this year. I was like always an SC 10 to 15 kind of person, and this year I've been an SC 20 to 30 kind of person. And that's all because I decided to set a weekly goal for myself instead of a monthly goal for myself. And so like last month I said, you know what, Erin, you should be signing up 5 coaches a month. Like, let's just get real with yourself. You're working on your business like 4 to 5 hours a day. You're spending all this time talking to people. Move the needle forward, will you please? And so instead of just saying like, okay, so this month you're going to hit like SC 30, you're going to help 15 people get started on their journey. I had to say, no, Erin, this week you're going to help 5 people get started with this business. It totally changed everything in my head. And so last month I ended up signing up 11 coaches. And that was because I made a weekly goal of recruiting a priority for me. And I started my day with that recruiting mindset. Like, that is my goal. I'm going to recruit 5 coaches this week. I'm going to recruit 5 coaches this week. And so it helped me shift the focus of my invites. It helped me shift the focus of my follow-ups. It helped me shift the way I was presenting, joining me for Lift 4, all that kind of stuff. So that has been really helpful. But my coaches are coming from everywhere, from challenge groups, from the 2B mindset, from Instagram, from Facebook. I'm still recruiting people I went to high school with, and I graduated with 132 people in my graduating class, right? I mean, like, you can just talk to people and you're going to find people. I don't know if that helps at all. Okay. So, I do polls. We have sneak peeks. Our team has 2 coach happy hour sneak peeks, whatever you want to call them, a month. And they're a 1-hour Zoom webinar inside of a secret Facebook group. And that's not personally where I'm recruiting. Like, I feel like I host these events for my team to create a coaching opportunity invitation and allow them to feel confident in inviting people to the coaching opportunity. But I'm not necessarily signing up coaches from those. I'm just doing that on my own. But I do feel like it's important that if we want our team to recruit, and if we want to increase the numbers of our team, that we have to create opportunities for our coaches to recruit. And so our team does host twice a month a coach happy hour. And I'm inviting mostly when I say my team, it's my PS team. I was hosting these for my downline for a long time. But then I feel like when you've got all these star diamonds and elite pushers in your organization, that they kind of need to be doing this for their teams. So I do these with my PS coaches, and it has been a really awesome game-changing shift with me and my PS team, because I get into this like big team downline management mode where I feel like I've got to do everything for everybody. And I do feel like we need to work together, but there's a point too where I need to really work with my PS team. And so my coach happy hours have been with my PS team, and it's been super fun because they're a lot smaller, and I like that. And because I'm having my newer coaches share on those, or up and coming diamonds share on those, and it's really increasing the confidence, and it's actually creating more accountability for them to invite to the event and to show up to it. So I think that's been really awesome for the team as far as recruiting goes. Okay. I want you guys to unmute and ask questions. Can you do that, please, instead of like just typing them?
Amen. Thank you.
I have a question for you.
Okay, who is that? Alyssa. Okay.
Yeah, Alyssa. So besides, you talked a little bit about like how you ask them how you can hold them accountable, which I really like, but what are the other ways that you have found to be really successful in supporting like your runner coaches, the girls who are really ready to push towards diamond, like different tips, tricks that you have found that work?
Yeah. Okay. So this is my favorite thing. I can mentor and teach and coach like my coaches all day. Which I have to be like, breaks, work your personal business. So, okay, there's 2 things that I love right now. And the first one, my husband is very involved in our business. Okay. Number 1. And in the fact that he is a mentor for our coaches. Okay. So number 1 is that we have mentorship pods on our team, and they are for the downline, and they are based on your current rank and your goal for where you're wanting to go. If you're in one of our mentorship pods, you are either a coach in Emerald, a cubic zirconia, which means you have 4 coaches, you're halfway to diamond, or you are a diamond or a star diamond or an elite pusher. All these pods divided up into current rank, into your goals moving forward. The idea is that you're only in that pod for 30 days and that you're pushing to get to the next pod in 30 days. Like, that's the goal. And obviously it takes longer and shorter and whatever. But the thing is so then all of our elite pushers from the diamond pushers are in a group together. Most of them are in a cubic zirconia pod, a CZ pod. And so what they're doing every week is that they're checking in on numbers. Okay. And they are all pushing to who's going to be the next diamond, who's going to sign up the next coach, who's going to hit SC10 or higher. Like they're all in that pod together, all those positive, hardworking pushers. Okay. And they're removed from the pod at the end of the month if they don't hit Success Club. Okay. And they know that going into it. So that's for the downline. So they're all working together. And my husband shows up, and he shows up every Monday with some sort of message or some sort of action step, or shows up with some sort of something. He doesn't necessarily have calls with them, but he's in there holding them accountable. He's celebrating. He's checking the coach online office. He's doing a lot. And my husband does work full time, but this is one of his things that I said I need your help with. But then for my PS team who's pushing to diamond, I'm just like my PS coaches, like we have so many that are so close. Oh my God. And, but we're working together in our own little PS pusher pod. Okay. And we have 2 calls a month. And like we have a call, like a Wednesday, it's a Wednesday mastermind. We jump on and I'm like, okay, where are we? Who are you talking to?
Are those calls, Erin, are those calls in addition to like your regular team calls?
Yeah. But these are just my PS coaches pushing the diamonds.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I only have a team call once a month. Every Tuesday is my downline team call. And I'm having mentorship masterminds with PS coaches only on Monday and Wednesdays. And they're different coaches. Like last night I met with my new coaches and I talked to them all about Success Club. And then tomorrow night I'm meeting with my diamond pushers. And I have a really awesome new diamond who's crushing it coming in to talk to them about how she got to diamond. So the key to diamond pushers is to keep their confidence building. Like, you got this, because somebody's going to cancel, and then and to keep bringing on new people that have gotten to diamond and tell you how they did it, to host Emerald in 24-hour calls for them. So I'm having these Emerald in 24 calls, like Emily Favre's talked about them, Ashley Mulstead's talked about them. But our team has an Emerald in 24 call every single week, led by a different elite pushing coach. So I have 4 or 5 coaches in our downline pushing to elite. So I'm like, okay, take leadership, ownership. We got to help our coaches advance rank. We got to help add coaches to this team. So I've got different coaches leading these 30-minute, 20-minute Emerald and 24-hour calls. And so we're constantly talking about Emerald. We're constantly talking about recruiting. We're constantly talking about Success Club. We're constantly recognizing all those behaviors moving forward. So those are things that are really helping our team right now.
I have a question. I'm driving, so I don't have my video on.
Okay.
So I'm wondering your process when you're talking about recruiting coaches. So for me, usually it takes longer for somebody that's going to be a really solid coach. I find it takes a little longer for them to get to yes, because they're an intelligent person that wants to kind of do their research. They want to think it through and whatnot, if they're coming not from a challenge group, just straight into coaching. So tell me your process when you invite someone straight to coaching. What's how long does that usually take from not the connecting part, I get that, but okay, now you've invited them and they're like, okay, I'll look into this sneak peek. I'll do do people quickly make their decision? Because I can get challengers very quickly. They make a decision. Yes, I want to be in a challenge group. I need to do this. But generally people I'm recruiting and coaching, they don't necessarily see themselves as needing a challenge group because maybe they're already fit and healthy and whatever. So it takes a lot longer, I'm finding, for that. So can you kind of walk through okay, I've invited them and now how long does it take? What is your kind of process? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But I just think it's so different for every person you're talking to. So I don't have a process for that exact scenario, because I think it just, it's not, I don't know, every person is so different. And so if I'm talking to someone and I'm inviting them to coaching, the first thing I want to do though is I need them to be a part of our challenge group. Right. And so, that's the first place I want them to go. And so I think the best thing to do is to get people on the phone. If this is somebody that has never, they watched a sneak peek, perhaps, I don't know. It's hard to get people to watch a 30-minute sneak peek sometimes. A lot of times people are already coming in sort of understanding what we do though, especially if they're following us on social media or they're watching our stories. So I actually find that like they already kind of get it and they just need me to reaffirm with them what your first steps would be as a coach. And so a lot of times like with this one girl I'm thinking about, Kirsten, she already went to the gym. She loved CrossFit. She was kind of whatever, maybe I'll try this shake thing, but she wanted to be a coach and help people. So I was like, okay, well, let's talk on the phone. We legit talked on the phone. And I said, well, here's what it would look like for you to get started. So I kind of like helped her see what it looks like and what the actions are as a coach before she even said yes. But I helped her think, like I helped her see herself working as a coach. And I helped her see that you're going to make a list and you're going to do this and you're going to invite people and you're going to talk to people and you're going to have to be a product of the product because we are helping change lives. We're helping people fall in love and create a lifestyle change, so I had to help her understand that. And she was like, okay, cool. So I'm going to do this Lift 4 program. I go, yep, that's what you're going to do, and so she had to hear that from me. So I think sometimes the back and forth on a message or direct message, I think would be really challenging to someone who doesn't quite understand it yet.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I really feel that I don't get everybody on the phone nor have to, but if it was that situation, I would definitely be like, hey, let's chat today. This will be so much easier. I always like to ask people whether they're wanting to be a coach or they are a brand new coach. I always like to say, so what is it about coaching that makes you excited? Because I think that when we ask that question, whether it's a brand new coach or it's someone that's thinking about it, we hear so much that allows us to present the business or present the first action steps to somebody in a really productive way. Because some people will be like, wow, I'm really excited to help my sisters lose weight or battle obesity. And I'm like, I never would have known that had I never asked that question. Or Kirsten, she was like, I'd really love to be able to not have to go back to work when my daughter goes to school. And I'm like, awesome, I needed to know that. And so then here's this coach potential telling me she wants to make a crazy income and not have to go back to work. So I was very easily able to say, okay, well, girl, we got to get you, we got to make some money. We got to build a business, and building a business means you're not just helping people get started on a health journey. You're helping people getting started leading this business with you. And so it just helped me frame it better for them.
Thanks.
Jessica. Yeah, Jessica.
So that actually answered part of my question, but I was curious, do you use deadline messages at all? I don't know if people still call it that, but that's what I call it, like for coach prospects.
All the time. Okay. Yeah, all the time. Every week I'm inviting to get started that week. Yeah. Yesterday and today, I'm like, I've got a group of girls getting started this week. I've got a new coach mentorship coming next week. Because I'm leading new coach calls and mentorship calls all the time. And so I always say this week, next week, can you tell me, I'm looking forward to hearing back from you today. Absolutely. I think timeliness and deadlines is everything. Absolutely. Because I don't want everybody coming in at the end of the month anyway. I would love to have a slow trickle all month long would be amazing because it just helps you balance your responsibilities and your coaching and mentoring. So all the time, every day, I'm sending a message about getting started this week for next week. Monday's our fresh start all the time.
Can I ask you another question on top of that? So I use deadline messages all the time too, but I don't know how to actually articulate this, but sometimes I feel like it puts too much pressure on people. So I usually just try to back off of them. So do you have a process for that where, do you know what I'm trying to say?
I'll say either way, no worries. Is the timing right for you now? And so, or would you rather me check in with you next week or next month? So I always try to, if people don't get back to me, I always say circling back around to see if this is something that you need right now, whatever. But I always ask people if they'd rather me check in a different time with them too. I think everybody needs the deadline. And some people are like, oh, when's your next one starting? Because what I've got is I have a boot camp that's an ongoing boot camp. Where every Monday there's new people. My goal is to have new people starting Monday. And so and I've got it set up as a social learning group on Facebook. And so there's always before you begin the boot camp. So there's always this unit that they can complete. So they always come in and they're getting that before you begin the boot camp. So every Monday there's new people starting their journey. And I just change the theme every single month. So I am always getting people started at the beginning of a week. And that's something that is just a goal of mine. It pushes me. It makes my messages authentic. And it's cool if somebody's not ready, because then they'll just start the following week on the following Monday. So
Okay. That's super helpful. Thank you.
mm-hmm. Somebody said, what platform do you use for your webinar on Facebook? I use Zoom. I have the webinar feature on the account. And so
is that how it connects? Because I've seen people do that before and I never know. And then you just hook it up to Facebook.
mm-hmm.
But are there other people on there like this, or it's just you?
Can be. Mm-hmm. I had to watch I had to Google some YouTube videos on how to use it. But yeah, that's how you do it. But like our sneak peek, I love because we have a secret group on Facebook that we just reuse it over and over. And so we just keep adding people to it. I literally had a coach sign up last month who'd been in that group for over a year. And she just jumped on like during one of our webinars. And my husband and I will also just show up and go live, and we'll be like, oh my gosh, you guys, there's this awesome thing we got to tell you about, like 2B mindset certification. Oh my gosh, you guys, like this is the last day to get in Joel's test group. Like you have to upgrade today. Like we just, and this coach Stacy, she was like, oh my gosh, I can't miss out, And so we've got this ongoing group of people that have said, yes, I'd like to learn more about coaching. And we just keep showing up in that group. And so, but that's where our webinar is. And so, yeah, it's Zoom. It's like you're on this, but the person who's in charge of it, they stream it live into Facebook. You just have to upgrade your account, and it costs more money to do that. But I think it's the most amazing tool. Like, I love it. It's been a very good use of business expense. What else?
There's a lot of questions in the chat thread, but I agree that they need to unmute themselves to ask them. So if you're free, unmute yourself and ask, please.
Hi, it's Kiana. I don't know if you can hear me. I have
you're good.
5 kids and a grandma here.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. So I've been running into a little bit of the issue. I've been coaching for a pretty long time, like almost 6 years, and I've been back and forth, and I've tried it all with like the mentoring and the team calls and the time frames. I'm just having a hard time with hosting. I feel like I'm a Pacific Standard Time, and then I have a lot of coaches on Eastern Standard Time. And I know we can figure out a time like to mentor them, but I do a lot of daytime calls because my kids are in activities at night, like soccer. And I mean, I have 3 kids, and I just like any mom, they're in like stuff, especially during the school year. And so I do 1 call a month for like a team call, and then I mentor a lot of my coaches during the day, but I'm having a hard time with the working coaches. And so like actual coaches that work outside the home. So what have you found with like working coaches outside the home that you're trying to mentor them, and they already are coming on the team calls and they're already trying to do their best, but they're really having a hard time it really is like I might host it during the day at 11 o'clock and they just can't hop on. And so I do host some night calls, but it's usually few and far between. Does that make sense? And so it's not as much as a mentorship as it is like hey, I want to see your face. And I even do 5 a.m. calls, but that's 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And so I can't get up at 2 a.m. to hit the 5 a.m.ers in Eastern Standard Time. Does that make sense?
Totally.
And so I'm just trying to figure out how you have gone about that and what has worked for you.
Well, I have a lot of coaches that they can't make night calls and whatnot. And I've reached out and I just asked them number one is that there's always a recording to capture. I would love for them to be on live. I would love to be able to talk to them. That's when the pods come in handy. If they're a working coach and they're hitting the ground and they're taking steps and they're taking action, they're in one of our mentorship pods, our success pods. So they're there. The recordings are there. we can't work miracles. We have to give ourselves some grace, and our families come first. So I think that that is something that we just have to be okay with. But at the same token, I think it's okay to recognize with those coaches that this really bothers me. Like, I really want to work with you. Let's come up with one day a month where we can meet, where we can make this work. And maybe it's a Saturday or maybe it's a Sunday. You know, I mean, because I think if you just said to them, like, gosh, I really want to be able to meet you where you are, like, let's figure this out. I feel like you could figure it out. And I also think it's okay. Like, there are so many teams that have Sunday night calls, or that have a Saturday morning something, you know, because there's a partner at home that can help with kids, and you can slide off to a coffee shop for a hot second. You know, I mean, there's other, I think, opportunities to make it work. And I also just think that, you know, I've heard this, and I think about it all the time, and I teach my coaches this all the time, that we are leading a volunteer army, you know, and sometimes we have to make sacrifices, and things might be really inconvenient for us so that we can serve our volunteer army, because we have to be able to show up as a leader and mentor. And it's just like this business. Like, if I send messages on Sunday morning or Friday nights, I get an amazing rate of return. Do I want to be sending messages on Friday night or Sunday morning? No, but it always pays off. Sometimes I have to show up when it's not extremely convenient, because I'm not running a 9 to 5, you know, and I know we all know that. But we're serving people who are living a 9 to 5 for the most part. And so sometimes we have to show up when it's convenient for other people. And that's the freedom and the beauty of what we get to do as a coach. And it's always our choice. But when we're serving the volunteers, you know, and we're trying to make them ride or dies, and we're trying to get them results, and we're trying to help them with their business, sometimes we just, I think, have to show up too.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. I also just feel it's probably because I did team calls for once a month or once a week for 4.5 years, and probably I'm like, okay, I need to try something different. So I appreciate, I like that, asking them. Can I ask you one more question about your pods?
Sure.
So I do the same thing. My team does the same thing. Actually, Taryn and I, who's on this call, or who's in this group, and I run our team together. And we see a lot of activity in some and hardly any activity in others. And so do you do a regular posting schedule? Are you, meaning, I guess I'm trying to say is, do you go in there every day and have something to say no matter what? Or are you kind of leading the troops in an authentic way as to what you feel like when they respond and when they comment on certain things? Because I know obviously different activity levels might happen with different groups. And particularly new coaches, how are you doing that new coach pod versus like a diamond pod? I know you said your husband comes in there on Mondays, and it's kind of like more probably self-led, but I'm just wondering kind of what the difference is, if you can just kind of explain that real quick.
Yeah, I honestly, actually, everything that I do in my team page and my challenge groups and everything is very organic. And that's kind of come a long way for me. I don't schedule things like that, because I like to see where people are, and see what they need from me. So what I will do is I sit down on a Sunday and I create my game plan, and I'm game planning everything. I'm looking at everything I'm doing. That's a whole nother story. But one of the things I'm game planning is how I'm serving my coaches that week. And so what I do is generally say, okay, so my new coaches, they need to know about hitting Success Club and why that matters and how to do that. So there's a focus for them for the week. Okay, my diamond coaches, we've got to put our pedal to the metal if we're going to meet this August 15th deadline. So all that we're talking about this week is recruiting. So what I do think is, what do people need from me this week? And I'm going to bring that energy to them in some way, shape, or form. I'm either going to do it in a live, I'm going to do it with awesome graphics or trainings that I've learned and seen before. I'm going to go grab a training video from Coach Summit that just talked about exactly what they need to hear, what they're struggling with. Or I'm doing like a challenge in there. Like in our Diamond Push group right now, we're doing this concept, because basically what it all boils down to is everything boils down to people taking action. Holding people, so these pods are just accountability for taking action. Is it a matter like a new coach pod, like make your list, post on social once, talk to people on Facebook, and send a couple of invitations. Like, that's what you do every day. And so sometimes we just have to create an accountability for them. So like in our Diamond Push group this week, the challenge is a 5-day 5-day invite first, then coffee challenge. Because people are getting up and they're just like, oh my gosh, I've got all this time in the world and I'm going to read my devotional, I'm going to journal, and I'm going to do all these touchy-feely things. But then all of a sudden they've lost all their time to get their invites done, and it doesn't happen. So it's all about take action as soon as your feet hit the floor, or before your feet hit the floor. Send your invites first and then drink your coffee. And so like that's what the Diamond Push group needed this week. So that's what we delivered this week. So it's a matter of me sitting down and saying, what do they need from me this week? And that's what I bring to the table. And so in that way I'm scheduled about it, but I'm not scheduled about it on a day-to-day basis. I'm an on the fly, what do people need from me this week? I do that with my social media. I do that with my stories. What am I inviting to this week? What are people feeling this week? Kids are going back to school. Like, I'm always trying to put myself in the shoes of others. What are people thinking? What do they need? How can I serve? How can I add value? And so I do that with the pods too. So David shows up on Monday to like ring everybody in, be like, okay, share your numbers. How many invites have you sent? How many people have you added to your network? The pods are accountability for taking action, for numbers. David's my numbers guy. He can talk numbers all day long, and he's holding people accountable for numbers. I think my new coach pod is quiet too. I mean, it is. And there's some people that are awesome and some people that are shy and quiet. And most of the people aren't hitting Success Club. And so they're removed. And then we're like, okay, so let's go back to the new coach training again. Okay. And then when you're ready to hit the ground running, we'll come back into this. When you're ready to get to Emerald, when you're ready to invite coaches, then you're ready for the Success Pod. So most of the time, if it's really quiet, they just may not be, they're lacking confidence. They're not taking action. They're not sure what to do, or they're maybe just not in the right place right now, or they're not sure how to interact. They're not sure what their expectations are. And sometimes you just have to repeat that. Okay.
I want to call this out. Marion, if you have an opportunity to unmute yourself, I loved your question. I would love for you to ask Erin, please, if possible. So let's see if she unmutes. Marion Green.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I don't want the equipment.
And if not, how about
private message on people on IG? Is that the one, Brittany?
Yeah, look
yes.
Simply
okay.
And call me back.
Do you private message people on IG? If so, what type of DMs do you send to kickstart the convo? Yes, I private message people all day long. And I direct message and Facebook message and all that kind of stuff. So my method on Instagram, I spend 1 hour a day building my Instagram. Okay. And my Instagram is still in the little teeny world of whatever, but it's still serving us well. And so I use the 5-3-1 method on Instagram, and I make it a goal to 5-3-1 20 people a day. And my goal is to do that in an hour. And sometimes the hour is up and I've gotten to like 10 and it's really been hard. Okay. So 5-3-1 is you find new people by searching hashtags or big accounts or like accounts or whatever. And you find somebody that you think is cool and is not a coach, and you like 5 of their photos, you comment on 3 of them, and you send them a direct message and perhaps follow them. And so the direct message that I'm sending them is usually something dependent on what I saw on their page. And it's just like, oh my gosh, hey girl, totally relate to, being a struggle bus mom, or the kids back in school. Your kids are so cute. I noticed you seem to like fitness. Are you on a health and fitness journey too? Always, usually that question. Or are you a mom too? Or how old are your children? Or when do your kids go back to school? Mine just went back to school. I just try to ask them some sort of question. Some people that are really awesome on their fitness journey, I always ask them I usually say, are you a coach? You have to be, because you already look so much like a coach right now. And most people were like, no, I'm not a coach. Like, what are you talking about? And so that's when you can have the coaching conversation. But yeah, I'm doing that all the time. So I'm direct messaging people when I'm building my Instagram with the 5-3-1. I'm direct messaging people who are watching my stories, especially those people who watch them constantly. or those who watch me do a whole little strain about the team, or a whole long strain about fitness, or a whole long strain about how I can help people. I'm always direct messaging them, and I'm just like, hey, like I would say something like, what did I just say? Like, I've noticed that you've been following my journey, and as a super sweet supporter, I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. I had no idea that I was inspiring you every day so that you'd show up and watch me. Would you like, can I send you more information so you can learn more about what I'm doing? Could you look over that today? So I'm sending that kind of message to somebody, like it's way direct. Like, do you want info? I'm not asking them to join me. I'm not really flat out inviting them to my challenge group. I'm inviting them to, can you read over this information that I send you? But I call them like a super sweet supporter. I call them an Insta sister or an Insta friend, a fellow Insta girl. I don't know, like something like that. And I'm also messaging anyone who is newly follows me, and I'm thanking them for their support and love, and wonder how I can continue to inspire and motivate them on their health and fitness journey. I ask them what they want from me. I'm messaging people who constantly support me by liking my post or comment on my post.
That's really, really, really good.
All that stuff. I message people all the freaking time, you guys. Like, oh my gosh. And wasn't it Jess Dukes yesterday? She's like, if my fingers aren't moving, I'm not working business is closed. And that is the truth. And so like in some people, most people are really receptive of you, like asking them how you can serve them. Like most people really, one time this is Jamie Thompson sent me this. I was like, okay, what are you asking? Like sometimes you're just like, what are you saying right now? Right? Cause you're like, please inspire me. Cause I'm not feeling inspired. And she messaged all the people who are watching her fitness videos. And she was like, okay, I just got to know, like, is this annoying or is this inspiring? Because I'm not really sure. And I'm like, and everybody was so quick they wanted me to feel good about myself, because that's what girls do or people do. Really, they want you to be like, no, you're not annoying. And most people are like, oh my gosh, no, you're so inspiring. And then I was like, easiest conversation to continue your life, right? So that was a really good way to message people too, like to flat out, because you are wondering that, like, is this stupid? Like, why are you watching this? Like, is this inspiring you? And so you just kind of ask people those kinds of questions. I don't honestly do as well from doing polls. I don't have the swipe up feature yet. That's a goal by the end of the year to be able to swipe up. But my polls, like everybody accidentally votes on them, and I don't understand how they do that, but they do. And so polls work sometimes, but most of the time it's just through messaging people. And usually like my newest people on my hot list that I'm in constant conversation with or sharing information with are from 531ing them.
Okay, I want to call out two people here, just because we have two brand new 5-star diamonds. So we have Steph and we have Emily Lusano, and it looks like Emily is still at her computer. So I want to just give the opportunity. Emily, do you have any questions for Miss Erin Young?
I was actually just about to unmute, and I may have missed this as I was scrambling notes down. But when you send that last invite that you said, when you're like, thank you so much for watching and letting me share my heart with you, can I send you more information on me and what I do? Are you inviting them to Coach Sneak Peek then, or do you have some sort of document that you're just sharing who you are with them, or what exactly is that invite to?
Well, then if they say yes, then I have to ask them what their goals are. So then there's a next question. So if someone's like, sure, I'd love more info, and I'd be like, okay, awesome. When I'm sharing this with you, I want to make a really confident recommendation of a plan that's going to get you awesome results. So first, can you tell me tell me more about you right now? What's your current fitness like? What are your goals? What are you struggling the most with? And if you could get your dream results, what would they look like? And so that helps me hear, oh my gosh, they already love fitness, or oh my gosh, they need, they're struggling. So I have to know that, because I'm not just, it's not a one size fits all, in my opinion. and it's not like an all-you-can-eat buffet where you just lay it out there. Like, I want to really help people get started, and either basically they're either being invited to Lift 4, to my general boot camp, to 2D mindset, and all of that could have that. I'm going to lead with coaching on top of that. Because here's my thing, you guys, like, I think that you could, like, everybody should be a coach when they sign up, but I just know that some people freaking freak out when I share coaching with them. And so I'm always like, my number one recommendation is to come onto my team as a coach, because the number one thing you get as a coach is you get greater accountability and support for your goals, as well as saving an income. And so I would need to know if you want to be a coach for greater support and accountability, or because you need that support and accountability, but you also would love to be able to cover your own initial investment by helping your own friends and family, or you can see yourself building this as a business that will help you replace an income or pay off debt. And so, like, I always kind of like lead with that from the forefront. I'm recommending that everybody signs up and become a coach, because the coaches on my team are the ones that are here for the long term. They're the ones saving money. They're the ones like getting great results, because that's the truth. Because they've got more skin in the game. You know, they're more committed. They're not just one toe in the water. So I'm always saying my number one is this. So it's either like you're either coming on board with, you know, as a coaching challenger or as a challenger. In my head, that's how I'm separating the two.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And congratulations, Emily.
Thanks.
Last question for you. I'm going to ask if Melissa Brewer has a question, because she's logged in and graciously recording for me. So Melissa, do you have any questions? And then after that, Erin, if you don't mind just kind of summing it up and just what advice you'd give these amazing 5-day Star Diamonds that are really pushing towards strong goals by the end of the year. So any advice, any encouragement, and then we can end the call. This has been incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry, my house is a little loud, but first of all, and I told this to our group when Britt told us that you were speaking, because I just love you, Erin, and I feel like I got to know you a little bit through the 2B Mindset group, and always felt really connected to you, because like when I hear you speak, I'm like, is this me speaking? Like, this is exactly how I feel like my life is, yet I'm just not quite to where you are yet. So hoping to follow in your footsteps, and I just look up to you so much. So a question I have for you, and it kind of, I don't know if it's anything new or different than what you've been doing, but I want to know, I don't even know if there's an answer for this. I want to know how you inspire your coaches who are working to just push through the hard times. Because I feel like I get girls who, like, for a week, they're all motivated and excited, and then it's like they go through a slump. And I always tell them, like, ride, you know, there's ebbs and flows in every business and in everything, and in your fitness and in your health and in your work and in motherhood. Like, everything has ebbs and flows. But, like, what do you do specifically to help your coaches kind of push through the hard times to get to that flow where they're, you know, feeling good and recruiting a lot of coaches and all that? Because I know you said in the beginning, like, sometimes you recruit 5 business builders and sometimes it's 11. And, you know, what are some of the things that you have found have helped your coaches to kind of follow in your footsteps and just always be persistent?
Well, I think that one of the things that I try to do really consistently is show up for my coaches, no matter if they've hit a goal or not. Okay. Like, cause I feel like a lot of times people feel like because their name's not on the SC board, or because they didn't rank advance, or because whatever, that they're not being appreciated. So one of the things that I try to do, someone's coming to my door. Okay, good. They didn't ring the doorbell. One of the things that I try to do really consistently is show up for different coaches. Like, I actually write a list of my coaches down that I need to, like, check in with. And these are like my ride or die lifer coaches, whatever. So that's something I try to do a lot. But coaches who are pushing and running, or they tell you they're going to be a 5-star and, or they're pushing for diamond, and then all of a sudden they're deflating. I think it's a matter of getting on a call with them. Like, I personally believe wholeheartedly in one-on-ones and in giving people a little bit of your time, love, and energy, because all they're needing, all that person needs, is an instant shot of confidence, a reminder of how far they've come, okay, and the simplest freaking action step to move forward. Like, that's all they need. So they just need a little piece of you. And even if you can't do a one-on-one, I send voice memos all the time to people. And so I think that matters too. Just be a little person in their head, telling them what to think, reminding them, and that's all it is. Boost of confidence, in one little thing, because it's one thing they need to do. And usually it's a matter of me saying, like, to my coach, Jessica, who literally is like this close to diamond. It's one coach needs to be added to her team. You're like, and she keeps getting frustrated. And so it's me saying, okay, one day at a time, one step at a time, one conversation. So who are you going to talk to today? Who needs to hear from you today, Jessica? Jessica, if someone says yes to you today, they can be an emerald tomorrow. Remember that. Okay. So keep looking for that right person. She's like, okay, it's just a refocus, and they just need you. If you see someone starting to fall off, you got to jump in really quickly and be a voice in their head. And that's what I think matters. Time. I think it's you. It's time. Everybody said yes to us. They said yes to us. And we can't forget that or take that lightly. And the moment that a coach is like diamond or star diamond and you think they're doing good, you think they don't need you anymore, they still need your voice in their head, recognizing them and pushing them, unless they told you not to, obviously. But I still, like, even my coaches who are just, you're like, I think they're good. Like, no, they still need us. Okay, so you want me to close here, sister Brittany? Your glasses are so cute. Like, I would look crazy in those glasses, but you look cute in those glasses.
3 weeks of LASIK and counting. That's all. Thank you. Yeah, if you decide. Thank you. I will send them your way when I'm done, because I will be so over them. But so your last parting words, just to this group. I mean, they're all striving for such big goals. They're 5 to 8 star diamonds. What piece of advice? What would you say to them that are working hard?
I think that you have to be. I think you have to be obsessed with the goal. I think every day you have to get up and say, this is what's happening. And there's a part of you that will doubt if you can make it happen. And then somebody will naysay you or get in the way. But like, I know that if I can freaking do this, that anybody can freaking do this. And whether it's 10-star or superstar or whatever it is, it literally is one person at a time, one life at a time, one conversation at a time. It really is. And so, but you have to do a gut check with yourself and say, okay, take a step back. Am I really doing the activities that I need to do to get our team to the next level? Are we talking the talk? Are we walking the walk? Are we making it happen? Do we have rank advancements happening? Am I recruiting new coaches? Am I leading by example? Am I teaching and mentoring people how to do it too? Am I making what I'm doing easy for other people to follow and to duplicate too? And am I showing up as a cheerleader and believer and confidence builder? Because it's all about freaking confidence. I don't know how any of us can't have extreme confidence in this business, because you're sitting here today in a call at, it's 12:30 where I am, because you've done something amazing in your business. And so everybody else on your team is wanting to sit here on this call with you too. And so it's a matter of you building their confidence. But I just think you have to be obsessed with it. And it doesn't, the obsession towards getting to a lead or towards 10-star or towards superstar doesn't start at this start of October. Okay. Like, it starts now. It started yesterday. And you thinking like, I can never get accepted into that Shaun T group because elite points, we already have all these people freaking crushing it. Well, what's the harm in working as hard as you freaking can towards it? There's no harm in working your tail off to hit a goal. No, only amazing things happen. And so I think that if you have a big goal, you got to do a gut check. And you also have to say, does my team know that that's where we're headed? And I think a lot of times our teams don't know where we want to go, because we feel like, oh my gosh, what if we don't do it? Or will they think the wrong thing or whatever. But I know one thing for sure. When I said, you guys, we're going for 10 star, they were like, oh my gosh, really? And when I was like, and you are a key player. Oh my gosh. Like when I look at somebody and say, you are a key player to this team being elite this year, they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. You are a key player in our team getting to superstar. And literally this coach was like, I want to help our team get to superstar. Now, whether she does it, I don't know, but man, it made her feel empowered. So ask yourself, do I have that goal? And am I obsessed with it? And does my team know that that's where we're going? And do the key players know who they are? And are they willing to fight for it as well? So that's what I would make sure that you do.
Beautifully said. No, that was perfect. Perfect. Okay. Erin, thank you so much for taking an hour out of your day to really be here with us, inspire our leaders. I truly adore you. I appreciate everything that you said. And I hope you all have an amazing day.
Thank you guys. I'll see you later.
Bye.